Lewis Hamilton's experience at the Shanghai Grand Prix was a thrilling, emotional ride, filled with both triumphs and challenges. Scoring points there felt like a significant achievement for the seven-time world champion. In what appears to be his final season with Mercedes, Hamilton has openly expressed his frustrations with the W15. His journey from a promising P2 in the sprint race to a shocking P18 in qualifying encapsulates the season's tumultuous nature. As he duelled with an Alpine on the track, his teammate George Russell was competing for P5. The race concluded with Hamilton's remarks about the W15, starkly contrasting the post-race comments from Toto, Wolff and George Russell, hinting at internal tensions. Is a civil war brewing within Mercedes after the Chinese GP? Let's find out. Lewis Hamilton finds himself in a challenging spot with Mercedes, struggling to break into the top 5 and garner significant points this season. Despite a strategic gamble aimed at boosting his start from P18 in the latest Shanghai Grand Prix, Hamilton's efforts fell short. This race only underscored the dwindling hope he seems to have in a turnaround with the team. During the race, Hamilton couldn't hold back his frustration, constantly venting on the radio about how sluggish the car felt and blaming it on the W15's balance. Meanwhile, the contrast was striking as Logan Sargent excelled on soft tyres, zooming ahead while Hamilton struggled amidst slower competitors. Without the twist of 2 safety cars, Hamilton's chances of scoring points looked slim. The sting would have been less painful if his teammate hadn't been performing so well, fiercely battling for P5 and securing vital points early on. Not only did this effort keep Mercedes high in the Constructor Championship, but it also thwarted Alonso's late attempts to catch up, ensuring Mercedes' grip on a top position remains firm. Mercedes was particularly pleased with Hamilton's points finish in the race, especially considering his challenging qualifying session. This setback stemmed from a lock-up at the hairpin, a tricky turn following a long straight. In hindsight, Mercedes felt they should have sent Hamilton out earlier during qualifying to improve his starting position. Regarding the race outcome, a Mercedes spokesperson elaborated that given their starting position, Hamilton's result was nearly the best they could achieve with the car's performance on that day. George's primary goal was to overtake Alonso and Piastri, which he accomplished in a strong final stint. Careful tyre management prevented Alonso from posing a threat towards the end. Hamilton faced difficulties throughout the race with rear tyre temperature, likely due to the car's balance. While the safety cars provided some benefit, Hamilton missed out on 8th place by a narrow margin and couldn't quite close the gap to Piastri for a DRS opportunity. The weekend brought a mix of experiences, with changes made after the sprints possibly not providing the desired impact. Despite this, Mercedes maintained competitive racing against McLaren, Ferrari, and Alonso's Aston Martin. However, Hamilton's comment about the car's speed while behind an Alpine seems to contradict the team's competitive spirit. Unlike Russell, who fought effectively with top teams from the start, making strategic moves to maximise the car's potential, Hamilton took responsibility for the chain of events that began in qualifying and extended into Sunday's race. However, the numerous changes made to the car, despite his P2 finish in the sprint event, hint at either his lack of confidence in the W15's consistency or a broader lack of trust within the team regarding the car's performance. In discussing this issue, Hamilton mentioned that the car underwent significant alterations since the sprint race, expressing hope for improvements during the main race and even wishing for rain to shake things up. Unfortunately, neither the rain nor improved performance materialised. Hamilton struggled to advance on soft tyres, leading to an early pit stop and a change in strategy that further dropped him down the grid. The 7-time world champion didn't hold back when describing the car's pace, calling it unbelievably slow. These remarks came as he found himself trailing behind an Alpine, a team that many consider to have the least competitive car on the grid. Remarkably, this Alpine is the only constructor that managed to regress during the winter period, crafting a car even worse than their previous models in recent years. When it came to the race, simply fixing the strategy wasn't enough to resolve Hamilton's challenges. He was dangerously close to not scoring any points until the timely intervention of a safety car allowed him to adjust his strategy while minimising the loss of track position. However, the string of bad luck didn't stop there. In a captivating moment captured by the F1 world, Hamilton's demeanour during discussions about setup changes was quite intriguing. Despite the challenges, he appeared nonchalant and even laughed during the interview. commenting that the car couldn't possibly get any worse than it already was, a prediction that sadly came true. This episode raises questions about whether the 7-time world champion has resigned himself to the issues plaguing Mercedes. Despite assurances from Bono about finding solutions back at the factory after the race, Hamilton's lack of enthusiasm suggests a potential disinterest in the ongoing struggle with the car's performance, with Mercedes currently fighting for 4th place in the Constructors' Championship, against teams like Ferrari, McLaren and Red Bull, who seem to be in a league of their own. The challenges ahead appear daunting. Over the weekend, Hamilton attributed his performance struggles to the car's setup and mentioned that he made adjustments after the sprint race, feeling that things couldn't have worsened, despite finishing in P2 just behind Verstappen. There's talk about a growing tension within the team, with Wolff addressing Hamilton by his last name in a debrief, a departure from the usual use of Lewis, indicating a possible escalation in their internal conflict. Therefore, the focus shifts to potential setup adjustments from Hamilton's side, suggesting he may be seeking changes to improve performance. However, his teammate Russell clarified that there wasn't a significant divergence in setups between them during the qualifying session. Russell, who qualified for Q3 and started at P8, just behind the Ferrari drivers, emphasized the similarities in their setups. He noted that while there were minor directional differences, overall, their approaches were quite similar. Russell also highlighted that both drivers made substantial changes after the sprint race, indicating a strategic shift in pursuit of higher performance levels. Russell's remarks underlined the team's ambition to compete for victories and championships, indicating a willingness to sacrifice short-term performance for long-term gains. He expressed surprise at Hamilton's position, given his esteemed status in the sport, emphasizing that the team collectively aims for higher standings. This perspective reflects a strategic mindset focused on continuous improvement, with an eye toward making significant strides as the season progresses. Given the circumstances, it's clear that Hamilton's challenges at Mercedes are quite unique, making it unlikely for him to fully resolve everything and compete at the front. Signs point to Russell being the preferred driver, evident in the protection of his car from experimental changes, potentially indicating his relative ease in extracting performance from the W15. Hamilton appears to be heading into a challenging season, possibly without a podium finish in a full race. The dynamics within Mercedes spark intrigue as Hamilton navigates these hurdles. The contrast between his struggles and Russell's seemingly smoother path fuels discussions on team priorities and support. This narrative invites speculation about the competitive landscape in Formula One and the challenges faced by top-tier drivers like Hamilton in maintaining their positions amidst evolving team strategies. It's a story that intertwines personal drive, team dynamics, and the relentless pursuit of excellence in motorsport. What are your thoughts on Hamilton's performance in Shanghai, especially after facing difficulties with his W15 post-sprint race? Share your opinions in the comments below.